Okay, find the domain and range interval. So here we see two different parts. The first part is composed of the line in red with the line in blue. Now when we talk about domain, we want to get left and right limits. So here on the left, we can see that this function begins at -2. So I'm going to go ahead and record -2 for the domain. Now my right limit is going to be right here at +6, because again, this is where this piece of the function ends. So I'm going to put a +6, and now I have to get the correct notation. On the left, I'm going to use brackets because we have a closed point. And on the right, I'm going to use parentheses because I have an open point. For the range, now we want to think about looking bottom to top. So on the bottom, I can see that the y value, or my limit on the bottom, that's going to be at -1. So I'm going to put -1, and then we're going to go all the way up to +2. Again, let's go ahead and get the correct notation. So for -1, we have a closed circle. I'm going to use a bracket. Now for +2, I do see an open circle. However, you can see that there's a lot of x values that satisfy the value at 2. So here, even though we see an open circle, we have a bunch of solutions. So we're actually going to include +2. Now I'm going to begin to turn my attention to the second part of this function. And now the second part of this function begins here at +7. So I'm going to begin by recording +7 for the domain. For the domain, we want left limits and right limits. As for my right limit, I can see that this function keeps on extending forever. So no matter the x value, I'm always going to have a solution, and I'm never going to be able to catch this. So here, we're going to put infinity. Let's get the correct notation. At 7, we have a closed circle. I gotta use a bracket. Infinity is not a number, so here we always put a parenthesis. Let's turn our attention to the range, and for the range, again, we want to think about this from bottom to top. So my bottom limit here, that's gonna be, well, let's go ahead and count. We have 1, 2, 3. So +3. And I notice a closed circle, so I'm going to go ahead and put the bracket. And now here, no matter the y value, this piece of the graph keeps on extending forever. And again, this is going to go to +infinity. I'm going to go ahead and put infinity parentheses. And now I have both sections of my function. The first function, or the first part of the function, the domain is from -2 to 6, and then the second part is from 7 to infinity. The range, on the other hand, the bottom is from -1 to 2, and then we have the other piece from 3 to infinity. So now I'm going to put it together using more notation. So the domain of this piecewise function is going to be from -2 to +6, union 7 to infinity. And the range is going to be from -1 to +2, union 3 to infinity. And those are the intervals.